Hello and welcome back to another week of our Gospel Love podcast. I am Caitlin.
I am Aramis.
And I'm Coach D.
And today we are, as usual, going to be continuing our conversations from the Coffee in the Morning Club sessions that we've had this week. And we've had some really good testimonies, really good thoughts on the topic this week thus far. So I'm excited to get into it today.
Yeah, we've been talking about what marriage is. And so many people have a warped perspective on what marriage is.
For sure.
Especially when we're talking about believers.
Is warped a polite word?
I'm being nice. I'm going to use some profanity, but I can use it. But they have especially when we're talking about believers, like we should have a faith-based perspective on marriage. We should have God's perspective on marriage. Now, folks outside of the commonwealth of faith, I get it. But for us to have the mind of God towards marriage is what we're bringing out. And our Coffee in the Morning Club, which is our community of couples gathering together every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. We just get into the word, we fellowship, we worship, we sing, we laugh, we do all that stuff, and we have input.
You sing.
Yeah, I try to sing.
Against the community's wishes. Let me just state that.
Man, that's torture, man. What are you doing?
That thing hit me, though. Hey, listen, it is what it is. But, so we was talking about some of the key factors to what marriage is, and we've defined it. We define marriage as God's mechanism for a husband and a wife to experience and enjoy the intimacies, pleasures, purpose, and power of oneness. And we were talking about that. And Monday, normally it was a different thing on Monday. Normally, I'm awakened out of my sleep with either a scripture or a song. And this Monday, the song "Just the Two of Us" came to me, right? And remember the version of "Just the Two of Us" I found, the cover I found with the girl.
How could he not remember? You played it about 2.4 million times. You probably gave them half their views.
And that's probably an understatement.
I just put it on repeat. And so that song, I woke up with that song in my spirit ringing. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. It was Bill Withers' original. But they did a cover that is just I had to record it and put the thing on repeat. So we talked about the power of that song, just how it speaks to oneness, just the two of us, and we were actually talking about marriage, and the end goal for marriage is oneness, right? Like most folks don't even get that far when they talk about marriage,
right?
And that song, they talk about building castles in the sky, just the two of us. It talks about rainbows in my mind. So much of that song expresses the oneness that marriage is supposed to lead us into. And so we talked about that, the psychological oneness, the power of two, like just the two of us, like we can get the job done. And there was another scripture that came with that in Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 7. It talks about many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all the substance of his house for love, he would be utterly contemned. Like many waters cannot quench love. Like that's the strongest force in the universe is love. Excuse me. And when we're talking about love, is the fuel that make marriage, the fuel that allows us to go through the process or the mechanism of marriage to get to oneness is love. And that particular scripture, many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. A man could give all of the substance of his house for love. It would be utterly despised. Like it would be rejected. Like it's not good enough. But we don't see marriage like that. We don't see love like that. We don't see oneness like that. And that's why we have 60% divorce rate in the world and like 58% in the church, especially the church, because we haven't been properly coached into being who we're supposed to be. And so we just dove into that on Monday, and those are one of the things that we talked about that I think we had a lot of input on. We had a lot of input in because one, the song, right. And that's when I was singing, that's when I was letting
unfortunately,
yeah. And so but oneness, like when you get to talking about oneness, it's foreign. It's a foreign conversation, and people have a lot of questions. But that's the goal for marriage. Like marriage is the mechanism to get us to oneness. And when you start talking about oneness and the importance of it, like we say this, and not to give too much away, but everything that you need as a wife, everything you need as a husband, everything you need as a man, everything you need as a woman, the companionship, the camaraderie, the connection, the communication, the exchange, the loving, the expressions of love, everything you need as a human being created in the image and likeness of God, as it relates to a man and a woman, is found in oneness. Is in oneness. The happiness you desire from marriage, the romance you desire from marriage, the closeness, the intimacy, the connection is in oneness. Is in oneness. But because we don't have a consciousness and we don't have an idea of what oneness is, now we still live in separate lives, and then we wonder why we're not close and we just drifted apart and we just connected and we just two ships passing in the night and we don't have this in common and we done grew apart. Yeah, because you weren't moving toward oneness.